At the beginning of the movie, we see a house decorated with several religious symbols. As the camera pans upstairs, a wet Bible lies on the floor and blood is splattered everywhere. Margaret White, who is a mentally ill religious fanatic, is on the bed giving birth. She begs for God's mercy, thinking that she is about to die. Margaret is so oblivious to the real world that she doesn't realize she is giving birth and thinks that she has cancer. When the pain begins to subside, she looks between her legs and finds a baby. Margaret concludes that the baby is the product of sin. She reaches for the scissors, ready to kill her newborn daughter, but stops at the last second and hugs her. Several years later, Carrie White has grown up to be a shy teenage girl. Her overly religious mother has raised her to think everything she does is a sin. She goes to high school, but is considered an outcast by everyone. One day while the students are playing water volleyball, Carrie accidentally hits the popular girl, Sue Snell, in the head. Sue's friend Chris Hargensen insults Carrie, making everyone laugh at her. It is evident that she has always been bullied by her classmates. After gym class, Carrie notices blood on the floor while washing up. Unknown to the concept of periods, she freaks out and asks the girls for help. Chris hands her a tampon but soon realizes that Carrie is having her first period and doesn't understand it. Instead of helping, the girls throw tampons at her while filming her crying. Sue feels bad for Carrie but joins in with the taunting to fit in with the other girls. Their gym teacher, Miss Desjardins, arrives there and sees Carrie having a panic attack. To keep her from screaming, she slaps her and calms her down. As the girls walk away, Carrie looks at the light bulb in anger and it shatters. Ms. Desjardins takes Carrie to the principal's office. The principal asks Ms. Desjardins to punish the bullies and informs Carrie they have called her mother. Carrie goes completely white at the thought of her mother finding out about the incident. She starts hyperventilating and a nearby water cooler shatters mysteriously. Soon, Margaret comes to pick up her daughter. She sees Chris and her rough boyfriend, Billy Nolan, making out while getting inside the car. Margaret doesn't want such influence around her daughter, but the state has stopped her from homeschooling. On the way home, Carrie apologizes to her mother for making her come to school. She asks Margaret why she didn't explain to her about her period, but Margaret dismisses the conversation. As Carrie sits in the car, a neighborhood kid on his bicycle calls her crazy. Carrie looks at him and makes him fall off his bike. When Carrie walks inside the house, she finds her mother banging her head on the wall, apologizing to God. She even creates her own Bible verse to make Carrie believe that bleeding on a period is a sin and she has become a sinner. When Carrie retaliates, Margaret knocks her in the head with the Bible and locks her inside a tiny closet that she calls the praying closet. Carrie yells in anger, causing a crack to form through the middle of the door. She then looks at the sculpture of Jesus on the wall, and to her horror, it begins to bleed. Somewhere else, Sue and her boyfriend Tommy Ross are having intercourse in Tommy's Jeep. After getting dressed, Sue expresses her guilt about what happened to Carrie. At the same time, Chris and Billy hang out at her house. In contrast to Sue, Chris has no regret whatsoever. To humiliate Carrie further, she uploads the video of the incident to YouTube. A while later, we see Margaret sewing clothes and singing Bible songs. She eventually opens the praying closet and wakes up a sleeping Carrie. After confirming that Carrie said her prayers, Margaret forgets everything and becomes a loving mother again. The next day, Miss Desjardins punishes Chris, Sue, and all the other girls who humiliated Carrie. She orders them to do suicide sprints after school for a week. Anyone who refuses the punishment will be suspended and cannot go to the upcoming prom. Chris calls bullshit on the punishment, saying Miss Desjardins can't do it. She flat out refuses to do anything she says, so Miss Desjardins suspends her and revokes her prom privileges. Chris tries to rally the other girls to join her, but everyone is scared of the teacher. Meanwhile, everyone at school watches the video and makes fun of Carrie for it. Someone has even sprayed graffiti on her locker that says, "Carrie White eats shit." Enraged with emotions, she goes to the bathroom and concentrates on the mirror and is able to smash it. Carrie finally realizes she has the power of telekinesis. She experiments with her newfound power, making the glass pieces levitate in the air. Sometime later, Carrie goes to the library and reads numerous books about telekinesis. She decides to test her abilities in subtle ways. In class, Carrie looks at the flag outside the window and makes it move. She is then called to the front of the class to read a poem. Everyone in the class likes it, but Tommy mutters an insult under his breath. When the teacher asks him to speak louder, he claims that Carrie's poem was awesome. Getting a compliment from someone popular for the first time, Carrie looks at him shyly. Meanwhile, Chris brings her arrogant lawyer father to the principal to try and overturn her revoked prom privileges. She plays the victim, saying that Miss Desjardins verbally abused her, but she is proven to be guilty when she refuses to show them her phone, which has the video of Carrie being bullied. Chris storms into the gym to see Sue and the prom committee decorating it. She angrily asks why the girls didn't back her up when she stood up to Miss Desjardins. Sue insists they deserve the punishment for what they did to Carrie. Seeing her play high and mighty, Chris accuses her of wanting to go to the prom with Tommy only to have intercourse with him afterward. At night, Carrie is in her room testing her powers. She makes several books levitate and eventually does the same to her bed. Margaret comes upstairs with a knife to investigate. She sees Carrie sleeping peacefully and puts the knife down. The next day, Sue asks her boyfriend Tommy to take Carrie to the prom. She believes that she owes Carrie one for the humiliation she was put through. Tommy is reluctant but agrees to do it anyway. He finds Carrie at lunch and asks her out to prom. Carrie doesn't believe him and runs off without responding. Tommy tracks her down and asks her again, but Carrie thinks he is trying to trick her. She runs to the locker room and cries where Miss Desjardins finds her. Carrie tells her about Tommy's proposal. Miss Desjardins knows Tommy is Sue's boyfriend and realizes something is up. But she stays neutral and asks Carrie to go ahead because he is a cute boy. She directs Carrie to the mirror, telling her she sees a beautiful girl, and with the right dress and with the tiniest dash of makeup, she can stun everyone speechless. After talking to her, Miss Desjardins warns Sue and Tommy to rethink if they are planning to humiliate Carrie. After school, Tommy drives over to Carrie's house and tells her he is not leaving till she says yes to prom. Fearful of her mother, she says yes, but under the condition that he will bring her home by 10:30 p.m. Now that she will be going to prom, Carrie excitedly goes to a dress shop, but all the dresses she likes are too expensive. So instead, she buys fabric to sew on herself. Chris sees Carrie shopping for prom and is filled with rage. She begins to plot revenge against her, along with her friends. That evening, Carrie walks home to Margaret, angrily awaiting her in the front yard. Carrie tells her about being asked out to prom, but Margaret declares she isn't allowed to go anywhere but school. Overwhelmed with emotions, Carrie starts to levitate things, making Margaret pray to God. When she doesn't agree to stop praying, Carrie raises her with her powers. Margaret declares Carrie a devil, but Carrie is adamant about going to prom. She releases her, saying the conversation is over. Meanwhile, Chris and Billy are at a pig farm with their friends. They slit a pig's throat and collect its blood. The next day, they break into the gymnasium and rig the pail with pig blood, intending to dump it on Carrie during prom. On prom night, Carrie puts on her dress and applies some light makeup. She looks stunning in her dress, but is very nervous. Margaret tells her that everyone is going to laugh at her because she looks hideous. Carrie, having had enough of her mother, makes her shut up with her powers. She locks her in the praying closet before making her way out to Tommy. He is stunned to see her this pretty for the first time. They drive to prom in a limo. Carrie is nervous, but Tommy introduces her to his friends, who are kind to her. Soon, she begins to loosen up. Tommy then convinces Carrie to dance with him and teaches her to slow dance. Still confused, Carrie asks him why he asked her to prom. Tommy says that he wanted to and is having a good time with her. Billy and Chris break into the prom and wait to execute their plan. They rig the prom king and queen elections to ensure Carrie and Tommy are elected. Chris sends Sue a shady text suggesting that she has planned something to humiliate Carrie. A horrified Sue races to the prom to stop her. The rigged ballots are counted and Tommy and Carrie win. Carrie is surprised but happy. They walk up to the stage while everyone happily claps for them. Sue soon gets to the building and sees Chris in the rafters seconds away from dumping the blood on Carrie. Miss Desjardins sees Sue and thinks she is here to ruin the moment for Carrie. So she locks her out without listening to her warnings. Chris eventually pulls the rope and the blood falls down on Carrie, covering her fully. Chris hacks the video monitors and plays Carrie's period video. Everyone laughs as Miss Desjardins goes to Carrie to comfort her. However, she pushes her back with her powers, startling everyone. Then the rope gives way and the pail falls on Tommy's head, killing him instantly. Carrie suddenly loses control and turns to the guests as the blood on her body levitates. Students try to flee, but she locks all the doors and windows. Next, she violently pushes the entire crowd back. One after the other, the people at the party are thrown around and killed. Chaos ensues as everyone runs around terrified of Carrie, but no one manages to get out. She uses the live electrical cables to torture Tina and starts a fire. As flames get bigger, Miss Desjardins tries to calm her down, but she grabs her by the throat and pulls her up. At last, she spares Miss Desjardins because she was one of the few people that were ever nice to her. Carrie then levitates herself out of the building as Miss Desjardins and the few remaining students watch in horror. By now, the entire school is in flames. While returning, Carrie sees Chris and Billy trying to run away in their car. Billy tries to run her over, but Carrie stops the car with her power. The impact causes him to die instantly. Chris charges at Carrie again, but Carrie throws the vehicle into a gas station pump. She then watches as Chris dies slowly. On reaching home, she sees her mother has escaped from the closet. She bathes herself to clean off all the blood. When Margaret finally appears in front of her, she hugs her mother and cries, claiming that she was right. However, Margaret brings out a butcher knife and stabs Carrie. The girl tries to run away, but Margaret turns manic and chases her into the kitchen to kill her. She is about to pound at her again, but Carrie uses her power to stab her instead. She sends several sharp objects towards Margaret, crucifying her, but regrets the action immediately. Following that, she cries while holding her dying mother. She then uses her power to destroy the house and makes it catch on fire with her still inside it. A few weeks later, Sue, who was the only survivor from the prom night, has a nightmare. In her dream, she goes to Carrie's grave and leaves her a flower. Suddenly, she is in a hospital bed screaming in pain like Margaret when she gave birth to Carrie. She wakes up screaming in fear as her mother comforts her. Thanks for watching, guys.